All right, over to the Guardian newspaper. Anxiety as NLC backs maritime workers threat to shut down ports. Also, CSOs call for foreign assistance, say elections short of best practice. Supreme Court extends validity of old Naira notes to December 2023. Emilio Khan as triumph against Buhari's dithering presidency. Atiku Obi insists they won, set for legal fireworks. Another story out of the Guardian newspaper this morning. All right, a couple of editorial pieces from the Guardian in Nigeria. Nigeria missing as equal treatment of women declines to 20-year low. Some editorials you find in the Guardian once again. Moving over to the Nation newspaper for some more headlines. Supreme Court old Naira notes valid till December 31st. Wike in Ibadan thanks Nigerians for returning power to South. Mbeki, Dangote, governors, others visit President-elect in Abuja. Obi, Nigeria's most dangerous, divisive politician, APC, PCC says in that one. The Atiku, Tinubu, Obi Kwakunso that emerged from presidential election. I'll take that again. The Tinubu, Atiku, Obi Kwakunso that emerged from presidential election. Nigerian professor sacked by Oxford University. Another story out of the Nation newspaper. I'll take a couple more. IPAC distances self from endorsement of Makinde in Oyo. Fayose denies resignation from PDP is another one there. 26 million naira pension fraud. Court jails ex-HOS chief accountant. Some stories there from the Nation. All right, joining me for the analysis this morning is Austin Udumo. Good morning, Austin.
Yeah, Kenny, good morning.
Good morning.
I'm fine, are you?
I'm the issues. Of course, you're aware of the risk and all of that. What did you make of that particular news yesterday when you see and all?
Yes, concerning the Supreme Court judgment, of course, that was one of the biggest happening yesterday in the country. You could regard it as good riddance to bad rubbish because it is now crystal clear that some people within the government decided to manipulate the president, so believing that Nigeria can suffer for all they care and nothing will happen. Because if you look at it very critically, the policy itself is not a bad idea, but the implementation was very defective. A poor implementation according to the time window.
Right.
If as a government through the CBN, you claim that you have been able to mop up over 2 trillion from the money in circulation, and you only released less than 1 trillion. We must not forget that Nigeria is a cash economy. We operate a cash-based economy, and that will take a number of years in terms of developing other alternative infrastructure to be able to achieve a full cashless society. And when we also talk about cashless society, it is not entirely the absence of cash at all, because there are some petty transactions that you cannot but do without cash. So the CBN tied the implementation to the election period, wanting it to end with the election. That is one of the areas where the CBN has missed it. And before now, the Supreme Court has given an order that these individuals within the government too also advised Mr. President to disobey the Supreme Court order. It is entirely bad. What happened yesterday was like a relief for the people of this country, because up until yesterday, you still saw a situation where people had to wake up from their home very early, cluster around the ATM to withdraw their own money.
Right.
Of course, the government might be able to preach the issue of reduction in the volume of cash in circulation, which a lot of Nigerians support. But the idea of deliberately making the people to go through untold hardship over their own personal money, I think it is uncalled for. That was what Supreme Court was able to achieve yesterday. So we now employ the federal government and the CBN to come up with statements on the Supreme Court judgments. Because if we were to be in a country that operates under the rule of law,
right,
and pay more attention to the rule of law, we would have been in this mess. Immediately, the Supreme Court gave its earlier restraining order. The federal government took the situation and said, let's wait for the judgment to come. But because of the ulterior motive, just to ensure that it is implemented at all costs before the first round. Now, let CBN come up with a statement, because a lot of people have been calling for clarification. What will happen? Should we collect? Should we not collect? Let there be a clarification to this effect. Perhaps the judgment of the Supreme Court could be interpreted to mean that the money that is still, the old note that is still in circulation, especially the 500 and the 1,000, let people begin to use them as a means of exchange. You can decide to come up with another policy that, once this money enters into the bank, right, it should not really worsen, because no new note anywhere up until yesterday, even in the city of Ibadan. For like 2 weeks, no new notes. So a lot of people are looking at it as a kind of deliberate act on the part of the power that be within the government, just to frustrate the people, innocent Nigerians, for the purpose of the election.
Right.
Now the first election is done. This is what the Supreme Court have to say. So increase the volume of the new one in circulation. Then, as a matter of urgency, before the resumption of work on Monday, CBN should be able to come up with a revised policy on this. Give us a direction.
Right.
Because we cannot continue like this. Nobody is saying that the old note should be used at all costs. But the point we are making is that the new note is not readily available, and you are taking the old note from the people, leaving the people to be stranded. That is what Nigerians don't want. Then, according to this policy, that is why I said the CBN must act as a matter of urgency. The old note, especially that of 1,500, that has been mopped up from circulation, are they still in the court of the CBN? Have they not been destroyed? That's the issue. Because even the Supreme Court judgment yesterday, we also expected that the judgment will have also carried the fact that new notes should be printed more for now. Because CBN can decide to wake up this morning and come up with an excuse, right, that a lot of these old notes has been shredded, which I know and I have evidence that a lot of them have been destroyed. They are not as intact as most Nigerians think in the vault of the CBN. As they are being mopped up, the ones that were mopped up earlier have actually been shredded. So are we not going to get into the UK again?
So Austin, just a moment.
A kind of direction.
What does that make of that particular judgment from the CBN? If we have a situation where the banks have probably actually destroyed these notes, Does that in any way make that judgment ineffective? Because there's also the issue of you having convenienced Nigerians during this time. You also, for a situation like this, you would feel that some compensation would not be out of order. You understand that sort of situation. So, what do you make of that particular judgment? If the banks have destroyed these notes, does that make it any way ineffective?
The greatest compensation and reparation, most especially, is to make money available. People don't care. An average Nigerian bill or come up to let us know. Because the implication of this judgment is number one, does it now mean that the CBN should open the vault again and recirculate the old one, voting it out again? You know, if that is done, the entire purpose is defeated. Or does the CBN still have that? Or is the CBN going to provide a guideline that after this time out, Nigerians, you can spend the money once you have it, it still remain valid in legal tender. We must emphasize that CBN has given a proof of the law to the old currency that between now and December 31st, 2023, it still remain a legal tender. Does it mean that people can use it, who still have it, they can use it within themselves as a means of exchange? Once it gets to the bank, it does not get out again. Or does it mean that the one that is still in the CBN vault should be voted out again to be recirculated? Does CBN still have that huge volume that have been deposited by the commercial bank? Because I just told you of the fact that CBN would have and have destroyed some of these cash that were earlier mocked up.
Right.
So what are we going to have in the days ahead? Because after the Supreme Court last restraining order, the situation worsened. Are we not going to have a similar scenario as far as this judgment is concerned? So the CBN should lay out, let the Attorney General of the Federation, the CBN, two of them are culprit as far as violating the Supreme Court order is concerned. So let them come out as a matter of urgency. This is not the time to sit on the fence. Let them come out to give us policy direction. Because a lot of customers have been calling people, those who are doing business have been calling people, should we continue to accept this money? We'll tell them, oh, let's wait till Monday, let's see what CBN will come up with. Because CBN and Attorney General of the Federation has made it look as if the Supreme Court is no longer the apex court. Because Supreme Court, sometimes ago in the history of Nigeria, once they give order, everybody comply. But today, under President Muhammadu Buhari administration, the Supreme Court even referred to the president yesterday as a chief violator of court processes and court order in Nigeria. So let them come up with their position and let us know what we are doing. Ordinarily, after a Supreme Court judgment, everybody should know where we are going to. But on this cash issue, Supreme Court has given an order before that CBN and the Attorney General of the Federation disregarded.
Right.
So let's see what this judgment of the Supreme Court will mean to the CBN and the Attorney General of the Federation.
All right,
We
also.
have good intention,
Okay.
but the implementation and the motive, it matters a lot. From all indication, as far as this policy program is concerned, it was ill-timed, it was ill-advised, and it was poorly implemented.
All right, Hussein, let's have you speak on what Yaya Bello says about this particular situation. He said that the president was actually deceived by certain people within the corridors of power. What do you have to say about that? Is it that, the president doesn't understand the workings of the Supreme Court and how law works? Because according to him, he says that some people, he didn't mention names, but are actually responsible for how the president reacted to this particular situation.
Yes, he didn't mention name. El-Rufai mentioned name. El-Rufai mentioned the Attorney General of the Federation and the CBN governor. that they have both misled the federal government. The CBN governor all along in the cash Naira redesign policy, then the Attorney General of the Federation immediately after the Supreme Court order. The Attorney General of the Federation, under normal circumstances, is supposed to be the chief law officer of the country. That is why a new government is about to be formed. We must say this for the purpose of emphasis. There should be a separation between the office of the Minister of Justice and that of the Attorney General of the Federation. The Minister of Justice can be a politician, we do not care. But the Attorney General of the Federation should be a seasoned lawyer who will advise the president, who will never take side, who will advise the president on the issue of law in the country. By the time you combine the office together, the purpose have always been defeated. Go and check the last period Attorney General of the Federation. Immediately they leave office, they go into extinction because of some of these acts they will have perpetrated in the office. Just imagine who will reckon with Malami after the expiration of Buhari's tenure. So you must properly advise the president. The president is not an economist. He may have his intention. This is what I want to do. The CBN governor, who knows how the process should work, should have come up with options. Oh, what are we going to do? The time frame is short, like the type of economy that we run. Let us do it in phases. Oh, okay. Let us also have a situation where the old and the new notes will coexist for some time. The cash crunch was as a result of the fact that the CBN mop up huge volume of cash from circulation and decided to rule out few in terms of quantity into the circulation. In the Nigerian situation, it is strictly unadvisable that you will mop up over 3 trillion and release less than 1 trillion. People cannot cope. This is their money. They need to spend their money. First of all, you have told them that they cannot withdraw beyond so amount. And they have agreed. Now, people will have to stay all day in the sun, in the premises of a bank, just to withdraw 2,000 naira to make ends meet. And you want to tell me that policy is good for our economy? That is why I said earlier that the Supreme Court judgment was just like good riddance to bad rubbish. Because if you look at it, a lot of Nigerians have suffered. A lot of people have died as a result of this process. There are urgent intervention that needed to be made that people couldn't make. And sadly so, they have money in their account. So that is most frustrating in the life of a man. If you don't have money, you can work hard to get money. Or you even pray to God to bless you with money.
Right.
Now you already have money in your account and you cannot access it. You have to go to the bank, you stay for long hours, and at the end of the day, you won't be able to get your money. It is really bad in the whole sense of it. So from this particular policy, we have now seen that those who are behind this policy have a different agenda that is not economic in nature. They have a separate agenda. Maybe they ask us to settle with some politicians and they have to punish all innocent Nigerians for that purpose.
I was going to take you to that, Austin.
Where people have to use Naira to buy Naira, we trade Naira on the street of our country. It is unfortunate. We have never had it so badly before. So I agree with El-Rufai, with Yaya Bello, that the president was misled by certain people, especially the CBN governor, on the redesign policy and that of the Attorney General of the Federation after the Supreme Court judgment. You cannot stop the issue of vote buying in just a cycle of an election, especially when the election was already around the corner. We monitored the election, you saw what played out. People still bought votes. People make transfer to buy votes. people bought material things to be able to induce voters.
Right.
So you can't completely solve it. Money is part of our politics. You can only reduce the issue of money politics. You might not be able to completely eliminate or stop it by the act, at least not with this election. And we have seen how the whole thing has played out. Now the truth is coming out that the whole exercise of Naira redesigned by the CBN may be a waste of time and a waste of taxpayers' money.
Austin, El-Rufai.
Give order that all the money in the vote of the CBN, the old law should be voted out. It suggests that the whole exercise was nothing but a futile exercise.
Austin, can you hear me? I was saying something. El-Rufai and co, the governors who took the federal government to court, they have insisted that this wasn't about politics. It was about Nigerians. They were looking out for Nigerians. And you sort of asked yourself, was that really the case? Seeing as the APC was divided within itself and all of the happenings that was happening within the political party, was that really the case, that it wasn't about politics and they were actually looking out for Nigerians?
Well, for these APC governors, we must salute them. That is why we have said that people should do what is good at every point in time. If you are the type of person that does not always do what is good, at the time if you are acting good, people will begin to suspect you. Because some of these governors that have spoken so vehemently against this policy have left Nigeria at one time or the other in the cold. And a lot of Nigeria are becoming suspicious. Yes, it is partly politics. It is also partly for Nigerians.
Okay.
How do I mean? These people are claiming to be fighting for the masses because on the other hand, it also affects them. Cash affects everybody. On the issue of PMS, that we have suffered, for example, long queue, scarcity of petrol for the past 6 months in the country. How many of these governors took the federal government to court? I don't know whether you are getting it.
Right.
We are talking about the motive. How many of these governors took the federal government to court? How many of them took the NNPC to court and said this is our natural resources? We are supposed to have it in abundance. Why are we having long queues? Now they didn't act on that. They left Nigerians to sort out themselves because they can buy at any price. Now it gets to the issue of cash. So there is this suspicion that these politicians have stockpiled cash, especially in the old denomination, the old notes, in their various homes. And they are looking for opportunity to spend it. That is why they joined the bandwagon of the agitation, making it look as if they are people-centered, that the agitation is people-oriented. Now, it is partly so. And on the other hand, it is also for selfish reasons. They are doing that because they have more of this in abundance. What Nigerians are craving for is that, let me have opportunities to withdraw my money. But these governors, they are not saying, let me have opportunity to withdraw my money. They are impliedly saying, let me have this opportunity to spend my money. I don't know whether you are getting it, Kenny.
Right.
There are two different things. Nigerians are clamoring. They are going to queue at the ATM. Just give me opportunity to access my money. I need cash to sort out myself. But these governors who have gone to court, their own is not that case. Their own case is, let us jettison this policy so that the money will start in our homes, we can bring them out and spend them and get value for them. So they are two different things. On one hand, they are fighting for the people because of the suffering. On another hand, Nigerians didn't say that this policy cannot work. What Nigerians are after is that, let me just have my money to spend without any stress. That is what Nigerians are after. So these governors, even if they are fighting for the people, their action is also very suspicious. Why is it on this Naira policy that they now claim to be on the side of the people. They have never fought for the people in the time past. Under President Muhammadu Buhari, he does whatever he likes as a matter of law and policy. Now you all of a sudden want to fight for the common man. So a lot of people saw that as being political, that it is because of their selfish ambition and their political ambition,
right, just
to seize the opportunity to bring out their own loot and begin to spend it. Don't forget the whole idea behind this policy at the issue before it's amassorted was the fact that a lot of the money in circulation, over 80% of them are in the private residences of powerful people in the country, that this money are not within the vault of the financial institution. And to a large extent, CBN was able to achieve that until they failed woefully to make the new notes available. So this is the situation where we find ourselves.
Right. So
the argument that the governors were fighting for the masses is for and against. So it is neither here nor there. They may be fighting for the masses, but with the coloration of their own selfish and political ambition.
All right, Austin, let's take a look at another story. Electronic transmission of results not mandatory for INEC, according to Section 60. That's a statement from the APC. They're saying that there's nothing within the Electoral Act that states that INEC must transmit the election results. That's, like I said again, Section 60 of that particular act.
Yes, if you look at these arguments, I learned that the APC and the PDP and the LP candidate have approached the appeal court for interrogation of INEC on the results, and the court has granted their first leave yesterday that they be allowed the opportunity to inspect election material, especially sensitive materials for the election. If you look at this issue that is at stake, let the case go to court and let them argue their case. The LP candidate said he won the election, that he has the evidence and he will prove it. Let us give him the benefit of the doubt and the opportunity to be able to prove that. The PDP also said that he won the election, they won the election, that they are going to court to prove it. It's going to be interesting, because if you look at it, at every point in time, when cases like this are challenged in court, it is an opportunity to further test our law. This is one of the most keenly contested elections in the history of the country. In my view, and in the view of some other Nigerians who believe that the Beavers have performed very well as far as this election is concerned. But INEC messed up the process by their inability to transmit results electronically from the voting center to the IREF portal real time. Kenny, I mean real time. INEC still transmitted those results. It is not as if they did not transmit the results, but we are talking about real time transmission, which by my own interpretation, that was actually what INEC promised the people. INEC promised the people real-time transmission of electronic results. Now, according to the same INEC, they said for some technical glitches, they couldn't achieve real-time transmission. So let us get it straight. It is not as if they did not transmit those results. Results have been transmitted. As at Thursday this week, it was already at 80 or 7% transmission. So I think it's being transmitted gradually. And that is where a lot of Nigerians and the opposition party are worried that if you promise transmission, that transmission should be real time. You should not give opportunity for 1, 2, 3 days. Because if you allow that, anything can happen. The figures can be compromised. So we are talking about real-time transmission. Now the ruling party who won the election has come out to say that, oh, the law didn't even talk about electronic transmission. according to the sections that have been quoted. Don't forget, it was the Senate President Ahmad Lawan that first of all said this, that the Electoral Act does not allow for electronic transmission. What the Electoral Act, according to Lawan, said was that results are transmitted either real time or otherwise. But real time will be able to give us the results. If it is just anyhow, why do you now call it electronic transmission?
Right.
If it is not real time, you do it today and you can transmit it next year, the purpose is defeated. The purpose of real time electronic transmission is so that this result will tally at the end of the day with what was gotten at the polling unit. Having said all of this, I think we should give the petitioner, as far as this case is concerned, the opportunity and the benefit to prove their case beyond reasonable doubt in the tribunal. That is what the law says. It is within their right to go to the court to argue this case. But don't also forget, there is a matter of law and there is also a matter of innovation on the part of the electoral umpire. If at the end of the day electronic transmission is not a creation of the Electoral Act, it's just an innovation of INEC, anything can happen. I cast your mind back to 2015 when INEC came up with the innovation of card readers.
Right.
In the case of Rivers, Akwa Ibom and Lagos State, the Supreme Court did head at that time that card reader was not a matter of law, that card reader was just a mere innovation of INEC. I don't know whether you are getting that.
Yeah.
That was why the governors of this state I mentioned, they were able to skate through, because at that time, the opposition in those petitions argued for non-substantial compliance with the provision of the Electoral Act as at that time. And the Supreme Court held that the Electoral Act was complied with, that the issue of card reader at that time was a mere creation of the INEC. If at the end of the day Supreme Court had ruled otherwise, some of these governors would have lost their seat, and at the end of the day that would have further given credibility to the electoral process. But since that time, people now go to court to argue what is in the law and what INEC brought on board to enhance the election. For me, whatever innovation brought on board by INEC to enhance the credibility of an election, right, automatically should become our law. Because the purpose of this various innovation, according to the Constitution, it empowers INEC to conduct, supervise, and undertake election. They can, in those processes, deploy technology as a way of innovation to enhance the credibility of our election. So the point I'm making is that any innovation, any technology that is deployed for the purpose of enhancing the credibility of our election automatically should become the law. That is how it should be. So these individuals and candidates should go ahead and argue their case before the court of law. The court is there, let them go there and argue their case. Let APC not come out to tell us that, it is not in the electoral act. No, don't tell us that it is not in the electoral act. Because why? The INEC promised electronic transmission of results. I think the major bone of contention here is that whether it should be real time or it should be otherwise. And if it is to enhance the election, the credibility of the election, it should be real time. That is the way it should be. But
Austin,
like I said earlier,
Austin,
Beavers has really worked as far as this election is concerned.
Austin, I'd like to read something to you.
That was defeated through Beavers.
Austin, I'd like to read something to you that would hopefully, give some perspective to this. Now, Section 60, subsection 2 of the Act, deals with the transmission of results, and it is at the discretion of INEC. The Act does not contain any mandatory provision regarding the transmission of results. So the real time or not or otherwise transmission of results is at the discretion of INEC. That comes across as, some sort of loophole within the Electoral Act. If you say that, okay, yes, we're going to do electronic transmission, but at the same time, you're saying one part of it, which for many people was the highlight, something that was anticipated and looked forward to in this particular election, the real-time transmission of results. Now, if you say that that is now at the discretion of INEC, it does seem like, something is going on there.
Yes, if you make such a sensitive provision discretional, it's just like hiding behind one finger. When you hide behind one finger, the purpose of a thing is defeated. Because such a sensitive provision that motivated Nigerians to troop out to vote, that motivated Nigeria to have faith in the system,
right,
shouldn't have been discretional. I just told you the issue of card reader in 2015. The Supreme Court said it was at the discretion of INEC to deploy card reader for that election. That it is not a matter of the rule of law or a matter of the Electoral Act. So between you and I, we have already know the end of this case almost from the beginning. Because if you talk about electronic transmission of results, which INEC promised, and it is not backed up by the Electoral Act, which is the law, it shows that it is just discretional.
All right.
So INEC have said that they have been able to transmit results. So why giving a time frame? Because you are supposed to do a real-time transmission of those results. So most of the time, the law in this country is a matter of our problem. Because how can you make a law to beautify something or to enhance the credibility of the electoral process, and at the end of the day, you allow for a lacuna that will make the hope of the people to be defeated at the end of the day?
All right,
it
also.
is uncalled for.
Okay.
The law has done this to us in 2015. This is a rerun of what we are most likely going to be experiencing as far as this case is concerned.
We have to open the phone lines now. 070550949, 08097,949. Again, 070550949, 08097,949. Let's have your thoughts, contributions to the conversation on Facebook. Barkeys and Odinron says the Supreme Court's decision to extend the legal tender status of old notes is welcome news. But the question now is whether Buhari, as we know him, will follow the court's ruling. Let's not overlook the fact that he openly disregarded the final ruling during his address. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. Okay, do try again. 070550949, 08097,949. Good morning.
Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Your name, please.
Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Hello, good morning, sir.
Good morning. Your name.
Hello.
Hello, good morning. We can hear you. Just go ahead.
One radical from Shokari of Ibadan.
Okay.
I thank your analyst for that good analysis. But I want to remind us of the fact that before the election, the issue of electronic transmission was a subject of contention between the ruling party APC and the opposition party PDP, whereby the INEC chairman succumbed to the fact that the electronic transmission will be used. So for now, at the late hour now, for the system to have broken down, it gives room for suspicion of collusion with the ruling party probably the relay projected themselves to pressure from the ruling party to be with their own side of not using the electronic media, electronic transmission system. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much. 070550949, 08097,949 on Facebook. I have this one here from Okediran Babatunde. The judiciary has spoken again. Will Buhari Din and Emefiele follow the directive of the judgment? Thank you very much. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Hello, good morning. Can you hear me? My name is Dr. Mark.
Yes, I can hear you.
Hello?
Go ahead. We can hear you. Just go ahead.
Thank you.
Okay.
I love the analysis of Austin. And another thing I want to say is that if INEC had done what the Electoral Act said, if they had followed it hook, line, and sinker, you see, this issue of Labour Party or PDP going to court now wouldn't have arisen at all. What you said was that the beavers will help to upload results from the polling unit straight to the INEC portal. You see, the reason why this election got as much as 355 billion was to acquire these beavers and also create a server that will be very strong to take all the results as they are being uploaded from the polling unit. So this issue of uploading results days after election, I mean, you should understand, nobody will take it. Labour will not accept such a result because they have lost. PDP will not also accept such a result because they have lost. But if it was uploaded immediately after people are voted from the polling unit,
Right.
such that in 24 hours all the results are already there at the portal, and Nigerians can see it, and they are reading it at the collation center. We are all looking at it from the server, and all the INEC, party representatives have their own results also to be able to check everything. If this was done,
Right.
this issue of going to court will not have arisen.
Okay.
I'm only saying this because of another time. You see, INEC shot themselves in the leg. And that's why people are saying it is not credible. It is very possible that this election was not rigged. But the fact that this result was not uploaded as it was earlier promised, immediately people are voting, it is going to the portal.
Okay.
Such that I, the voter, can
You have to round up now, okay?
my unit.
You have to round up
So
now.
that is the reason. I do not blame Labour or PDP for going to court.
Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. Are you there?
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning. I can hear you. Just go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, Balti is on Nigerian. I'm calling from Ibadan.
Okay.
Okay, regarding the filing going to law court to seek redress from the other presidential parties, I think it's a good thing. However, if INEC had done what was supposed of them to do, because they promised Nigeria was real-time transition, which they failed to do. If they had done that, I think all these assertions that the elections were rigged would have been reduced. To be honest, election rigging were reduced to a bare minimum, at least with Beaver. Because compared to some elections, I could remember here at that time, a lot of people were still in the queue when the winner was announced. So at least Beavers reduced it. But since INEC had failed to do that real-time transition, they should at least work towards it, do the needful before March 11. That is my contribution. Good morning.
All right. Thank you very much. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, this is Miriam. I'm calling from Odegai.
All right.
As regards the Supreme Court judgment, I want to believe that the President and the CBN governor will end up flaunting the order because this is not their first time. Anyways, I only urge them to find lasting measures to the scarcity of the unit because it has further increased the level of hardship on Nigerians. That's my take. Good morning.
All right. Thank you very much. Back to Facebook. Omar Basharu Abiola says, beautiful morning to you. Nothing wrong with the CBN policy, but the time and method of implementation is very bad. We thank God for the court verdict of Supreme Court, and we Nigerians see it as a welcome development. God will guide our leaders right. Thank you very much there. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Binga Mario from Apata.
All right.
On the Supreme Court verdict, my question is, should we believe the judgment of the Supreme Court or await the presidential speech on the Supreme Court judgment? Thank you.
All right. Interesting one there. Austin, are you still there?
Yes, I'm with you.
Yeah, you did catch that last caller, didn't you?
Yes, I got it.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning,
Hello.
sir. Yeah. Good morning. We can hear you.
All
right.
You know, what Austin said this morning, we explained everything. But what I was just saying, I don't know all what we discussed in Nigeria, how we put food on our table. You know, we should take science and technology like a religion, we take politics. The things we discussed in Nigeria, we won't put food on the table, it won't make us advance. We discuss politics 365 days in 365 days. We should think of developing how we can develop the nation. That's why I think we need mind education. I will still continue to need mind education in Nigeria. And we need to discuss the real issues that concern real advancement. That's my contribution.
All right, thank you, sir. Take one more call. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Comrade Fagbemi from Ibadan.
All right.
You see, on the court judgment, I will ask many people that are talking now, including El Rufai, when the court in Nigeria have been giving judgment against this ruling government, particularly Baba Buhari and APC, they gave ruling on Sunday Igboho, on Kanu, on Ezakisaki. They did not obey it. I did not see any APC member or anybody condemning that action. They have been supporting the president and the party now. Where are they now crying wolf now? That is the situation. Hypocrisy will not lead Nigeria to anywhere.
All right.
So we should just continue to pray. Good morning.
All right. Thank you very much. That's the last call I'll be taking on Facebook. Tulu Lokpe at DME says, good morning. INEC is the one responsible for all the imbroglio surrounding the presidential election we had last week because they were the ones who failed to walk their talks on the electronic transmission of results and has been the bone of contention. Okay, that has been the bone of contention of the other candidates. It's quite disappointing that INEC performed, lost that one, performed below expectation in that election despite the humongous amounts of money being spent. Thank you very much for that message. Austin, it's time to go. I'd like to take your final takes as quickly as possible. Any words of encouragement for Nigerians, anything you just like to put out there?
Yes, concerning INEC, the match level is just around the corner. Whatever challenges that they encounter, let measures be put in place to eliminate them. Because when we promise, we must cautiously take steps to make our election saner and the outcome more credible. So it is very, very important. Let there be no repeat of what happened in the presidential election for this governorship.
Right.
If you have promised real time, you should deploy technology that will give us real time solutions. God bless Nigeria.
All right. Thank you very much, Austin Udumo, for your time. We do appreciate you. That's where we call it a wrap on the Break of Dawn paper review for today. The Break of Dawn paper review will be back on Monday. I'm Kenny Durotilu. Good morning.
Ìkànnì Adẹ́rìn-Pòṣónú.
32 FM. The Pioneer Joy Station.
32 FM.
The station admired by other radio stations.
32 FM.
One tagline is never enough. 32 FM. 94.9. Filling the world with laughter.
Are you ready?
You're tuned into 32 FM 94.9. The first station dedicated to bringing you joy, happiness, and laughter.